Hi, this is LT Survival, and this is chapter 15 of the book club, I think. I will correct that after when I process this because I have no time to check. Today's video will be talking about Bushcraft from Mors Cochanski. Well, the grandfather of Bushcraft, obviously. I thought this subject would be pretty new to me, but in fact, it's not. And after this, I'll tell you why. Well, as a review of this book, this is a good basic book. It verse less, it lean less into the traditional end of 1800 type of bushcraft. We remember Dave Canterbury's 101 and 201, Bushcraft 101 and Bushcraft 201, Advanced Bushcraft, which leans towards the form and the ways of the Bushmen in the 1800s. When Mors Cochanski is in the same area, but he's more using what's been developed in those years by the frontiersmen to present you things you can do in the woods, which brings you to survival, making shelters, making fire, making living area instruments. So how to make cuts, how to build a oven, how to cut a tree with a knife, making traps and ropes and lawn fire and house and everything. So basically this is bushcraft, this is field craft, this is survival. It's not presented as a survival book. It will help you for survival by having the field craft and the bushcraft, but it will not show you what you should do for thinking survival. It'll show you what you can do to live in the forest, but not how to get to survival. It wasn't a surprise to me because of two books I already read beside the Bushcraft from Dave Canterbury. These two books I read a long time ago. I think this one is a 1980, 90 or something like that. Let me check. This was published in 73. Read it. Yeah, not even read it. That's 73. That's a very long time. I was a young boy when this book came out. But it's still out there. It's still been published. This is Living in Forest. If I try to translate, I'll give you a close-up of the book right now while I'm talking. And the other one is Coureur des Bois, the good old trapper that goes around getting pelt. The vademecum, le vademecum du Coureur des Bois, donc from Denis Frappier, and this one is a Paul Provencher, Vivre en Forêt. So two books basically that were bushcraft before bushcraft was a word or was a popular word. So basically what Mors Cochanski in his book Bushcraft and these two, and they have more books, are giving you is the field craft of those pioneers. Not necessarily as per the pioneer we're doing it, but in the modern way, as modern as equipment they can use to do their field craft. They're plain clothed guys that goes around in the bush hunting and fishing. So basically that's why bushcraft wasn't a surprise. The lore around bushcraft was kind of more of what unsettled me about bushcraft. But I realized it's basically field crafts. It's basic bottom line field craft, what scout cadets anybody that goes to the outdoors and lived off a bit the wild with modern equipment, make shelters, things like that, we were doing already. That's not a surprise, it's just a way of doing it. So basically, it's the old way of hunters and fishermen around. They were using improvised camp at that time. Well, we can still use those same camp. Sometimes they make more longer living cabins, and they did. So in today's world, it's a little less possible, but you can go around and at least use the basis of these to survive. So it's really good. This is a really good book. If you have never approached fieldcraft and everything, this is a good book in English. In French, I do recommend the old books from these guys if you can find them in used or on the internet or whatever. But I mean, you can go around and have lots of knowledge developed in these books compared to basic to get, not compare, but to get an understanding of how to proceed to survive in the wild and have shelters, fire, and everything. So, good books, good read. That's probably going to be the last the last unique book review I'm going to do in this series because I ran out of books. It's about time, I guess. I have plenty more books which I've not necessarily read, so it's going to be more an overview of what books you can use. It's guidebooks, so that you don't necessarily read them, but you go in there and find the information you need, and it's going to be more difficult for me to evaluate books. I'm going to be probably doing more and more video presenting those reference book, what you can get for what you need, and if I have anything opinions to offer, I'll do on each book, because I've went through the books. I didn't read them per se. Reference book is difficult to read as a textbook, but you can do it, but it's not as informative as if you were researching specifics. So stay tuned. This was the review of the Bushcraft books from Mors Cochanski. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.